Talking like we're friends, you think it's a better idea. Call in.
My name's Dan, and I play guitar and sing with Good Old War. We are a band from Philadelphia that is just touring our asses off and trying to, get as many people to hear us as possible.
Calling me names, calling me
We all grew up listening to a bunch of the classics, the Beatles, the Kinks, Nilsson, Beach Boys. Pretty much really good vocal groups were the place that all of us meet up. We all have all these other things that we listen to, but when we first started the band, Paul Simon, people like that was the kind of thing that we wanted to, that was a good starting point for us. Philadelphia is our home, and the music scene's really good. It's really blossoming. There's a ton of different stuff. We're definitely in with a lot of really great singer-songwriter bands, Hezekiah Jones and Chris Casper, and Toy Soldiers, and these great rock bands that I can't wait for the world to hear because they're just awesome. Good Old War formed in the very, very end of 2007. There's a band called Days Away that Keith and Tim, the other two guys in the band, were in, and they had a tour booked. And right before the tour, they found out that they weren't going to be able to do it. That their keyboard player was quitting the band. So they're like, let's not do the tour and then just break up right afterwards. Let's actually make it matter. And since I'd already kind of been playing with them and we started hitting it off really well, we did the tour as Days Away, but we did acoustic versions of the songs and some of the whatever songs that we had lying around, and we were practicing them on the way. And most of those, actually every one of the songs that we did that wasn't a Days Away song ended up on our first record. And we were just, it just was a kind of a magic, immediately starting on the road, and we've never left it, The band's name came from a little bit of each one of our names. We always wanted to have a name. We talked about having a name since we're all three singers that had each one of our names in it. And when we tried to put our names together, we tried, Arnold, Schwartz, and Goodwin, or Goodwin, Arnold, and Schwartz, and all these different versions of the combinations of our names. And it always sounded like a law firm, so we couldn't make it sound right. And eventually, Keith's wife, actually, Jenny, she came up with the idea of breaking up each one of our names into pieces, and we all found out that we had words in our names. So Keith Goodwin, Tim Arnold, and Dan Schwartz turned into Good Old War. I don't think that we had a plan as far as what our sound should be. The only idea was coming from these very large bands. We wanted to be able to play a show anywhere, anytime. If it meant that we could play in a backyard or we could play in a stadium, we wanted to be able to do pretty much our sound anywhere we possibly could. So the main idea was to make sure that we were writing songs that we could perform and not need a whole bunch of equipment or anything to do it. So it was based around an acoustic guitar and all of us singing, and that was it. And then luckily on top of that, we found that we have a really good chemistry as far as being a band, with a really great drummer, and Keith is a great bass player. So the three of us are a band and we play live, but then we can also break it down to just the one guitar and us singing. And that was really the plan. We just wanted to have really good songs that could always come across no matter where we were. That was the plan. Well, I think everybody has something to say. I think that we just have something that we want to share with people, and what we're doing is just trying to create a friendly, fun, enjoyable vibe and a place and an outlet for people to sing loud and have a good time. And while the songs have a lot of depth and they have a lot of subject matter that's really important to us, and hopefully get people through, the situations that are happening in their lives. When it comes down to it, we just want people to enjoy themselves and sing along. And I think that that's important because it's important to see people that enjoy what they do. And I think every time I see a band and they're smiling and they're having a good time, that does it for me, and I love that about this band, because we truly enjoy what we're doing, and it's really for no other reason except just the fact that we love it so much, you know.
I know everyone would want me to say that I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm gonna live, I'm alright. I'm gonna die, it's alright, I'm okay. Lie, die, die. I'm gonna live, I'm alright. I'm gonna die, it's alright, I'm okay. Lie, die, die. There's a place in my head. It must be called the Super Motel.
We released an album called Come Back as Rain, and it is a different album. It's the first time we had full-on production. We had Jason Cupp, who has been a big part of our band since the very beginning, produce the record. We sat down and revised lyrics together. Usually, you know, it would be like one person has a song and those are the lyrics, and we might change a word or two, but this time the words mattered to everybody, and since we all sing so much together, it was really cool to get a chance to get the lyrics all together. And then we actually recorded the band playing live, and it's the first time we've really had the opportunity to capture what the band does, I think, on a record, and I'm looking forward to making the next one like that too, you know, and just trying to expand upon that, because the live sound of our band is what we're most proud of. Songwriting process is usually somebody brings in a full song. Keith or I usually bring in a full song, and then it gets worked on. But it's changed all the time. There's been a bunch of different things. We started Come Back as Calling Me Names. We started just out of a beat that Tim made up, and we're starting to mess with that idea more and more, starting with beats instead of a guitar part, or starting with a lyric, or starting with a melody, and just trying to break it up as much as possible. But in general, usually somebody has the basic idea for a song, either an outline or a pretty clear picture of what a song should be, and we work our way out from there. But it's very collaborative. Anthony and grew up with Keith and Tim. They've been friends since they were all little kids, you know, and they've all had their wild times together, and all the times in high school. And Tim played on some of the very first stuff, like this high-end driving stuff with Anthony, and Keith and Anthony they did the Sound of Animals Fighting thing, and they've just always been really good friends. Like and as soon as I met him, I became really good friends with him as well. He's just a really good dude who's taking really good care of us, and it's actually our first tour. That tour that Days Away was supposed to do, that I joined up on, was an Anthony Green tour. So he's been with us since the very beginning, and then even before we made our first record, we recorded his a bunch of songs for his first record as well. He just supported us. He like took care of us and wanted the world to hear us because he believed in our band, and that kind of support, it's unbelievable how much he's helped us and how much he's tried to get people to hear our band, you know. It's really cool being their special guest. Dispatch is really amazingly friendly guys too. They've treated us so well, and we're getting to play these awesome places. We played Radio City Music Hall. We're playing arenas. We're playing places that we never could imagine. You know, it's the kind of places that we'll always remember, that are, you know, we can tell our families that we played, and you know, that opportunity is just so cool. You know, just to be up on those stages and looking out into these beautiful venues and these huge arenas, and then at the end of the night too, you know, just looking down on them, breaking these places down, and just being like, wow, this is the dream, you know. And this is our first time playing places that big, so that's really cool. And then we get to come up in Canada and play the kind of place that we would play, you know, if we're headlining too, which is really cool, because, you know, this makes us feel at home, you know, smaller room. The biggest challenges are probably just making sure that we stay healthy and, you know, take care of ourselves. Since we all sing, staying healthy is extremely important, and especially since we drive ourselves and we do all of our own everything. You know, we tour manage ourselves, we book our own hotel rooms, we do everything for ourselves, besides obviously like the management of the band and everything. So yeah, for us, it's really, I think the biggest challenge is staying healthy and making sure that everybody treats each other well all the time. And we're incredibly lucky that everybody gets along as well as we do. But you know, you get tired on the road, and everybody's just always got to be good to each other. And it's an interesting study in how to get along, I think, you know, being in a band. What do I think life is? I think life, I don't know why I would have any kind of good answer for this, but I'm gonna say what I think about a lot would probably be a series of moments that you're paying attention to. Hopefully, your entire life is based up on every single thing that's happening to you at any given moment, and whenever you stop paying attention, that's when you're not really living. I think just paying attention to every single moment that's happening and all those little things and those little tiny scenes, almost like a comic book, little boxes of your life. That's what I think it is. It's going to be the memories that you create.
Calling me name.